Adrian, it's 4:16 p.m. on February 1st, 2019. I just ate some Burger King with a very good friend of mine by the name of Vinny Greco. I believe he's right over there.
Are you talking to your tape recorder again, George?
Adrian, Vinny is speaking to me. I don't really know how to respond. Come fix this situation. There, I turned it off.
Good.
So, you could probably guess. This episode might have something to do with Twin Peaks.
The Twin Peaks episode.
We're gonna try and leave a lot of the spoilers till the later segments of the show.
I would say like around halfway we'll give out a warning, I guess.
It's hard because like we really want to talk about the more deep aspects of the show.
But unfortunately it did come out recently a year ago, the renewal. The revival season.
Yeah, we're late to the game, absolutely. Because a whole bunch of other people have already talked about it.
We were just one when it first came out, so we deserve some leeway. Like,
the revival came out in our, when we were sentient.
That's what you think.
In this reality. Oh. Anyway, folks. Hi guys. Hopefully you're having a good day. It's me, Bone King, here for the CanonFire podcast on Fan Freaks. Adrian is kind of dealing with some stuff with Lois, and if you want to know what that means, you can ask him yourself. Today, I am joined with a very good friend of mine, Vinny Greco.
Hi, you can find me at Leisurely Vinny on Twitter, or everything else, basically.
We call him Leisurely, because he knows how to have a leisurely time.
That's right.
That's right. Go on his Twitter now. Follow, like, and subscribe, and smash that bell.
Smash the
bell.
like button.
Smash the thumbs up until it breaks.
Subscribe. I promise I won't post anything.
You won't even know I'm here. I just want to be in your subscribe box. That's it. I'm not gonna post anything, so you just leave me there, okay?
Just leave me there, empty. Like everybody has at least some subscribers that they're subscribed to. They just don't post anything anymore.
That's fine. That's how you keep subscribers. You make them forget. In any case, so we're gonna start off. Oh God, we have a lot of stuff to go through. Twin Peaks. What is it?
Well, basically the general gist of it is about an investigation regarding the death of a high school girl. It takes place in a very small town.
It is a TV show.
That's correct.
Because we should probably state that for someone who knows nothing.
Well, it's kind of multimedia now, since there's TV show, books, movie.
But I mean, when it came out, and this was something I started listening to, because after you're done watching the show, the first thing you do is like go online and watch like 6 different theories and like watch people talk about it. But what they were saying was like Twin Peaks was one of the first shows that had like a cinematic continuing story per episode, and a lot of other shows like were just contained.
Like Monster of the Week.
Yeah, like even like Star Trek, where they were kind of connected, but they were their own contained stories each episode. Twin Peaks kind of brought it into this idea that it's like kind of like consistent, like a telenovela, but it did something with it.
It's a dramatic story,
right? It made it smart. It made it interesting, and I think that's really cool.
With a great cast and lovable characters, like each one has a great personality.
So that being said, that it revolutionized the TV industry. Twin Peaks is about a detective who is called into Twin Peaks to investigate the murder of a high school prom queen.
Well, she was a homecoming queen.
Oh, I knew it was something like that.
It was homecoming queen, and she is like the most popular girl. It's a small town, so everybody knows each other.
Yeah. And it's not like she's a popular like bitch character or something. She's genuinely loved by everyone in the town.
Literally, adults, old people, dogs,
children,
turtles,
everyone.
the ducks side of the road.
The water.
Everybody.
Even, the town even. Technically, I would even say the town loves her for just keeping her around.
Remember, this is the gist of the show when you first come into it.
Right. Okay. So, like, that's the initial thing. You're trying to figure out who killed Laura Palmer.
It's easy, simple, nothing weird. It's dramatic about an FBI agent.
It does get a little
weird for an FBI agent to investigate this kind of murder, because if it's just one murder, a lot of times it's just the local police. And it's kind of weird in the beginning if we're like, Why would the FBI get involved with just an easy murder?
Well, wasn't it that there were other murders before as well?
Only one.
Oh, yeah, they were, and then they called them in because they had no idea, no leads, so they like needed the FBI to come in. So I get that, but what I mean by it being weird is like, how do I describe the people who live in Twin Peaks? Quirky? Is that a word I can use?
They remind me of like a 1950s atomic small town that's just full of life. It has a diner. Everybody has like a, I would say
a gimmick, a quirk, because that's what it is.
Yeah, a quirky personality trait. Each one of them. We have the hot wife of a dead business owner who now owns a local log.
The fucking log factory.
And she's dating the sheriff, and
that's going into the actual interpersonal dramas in between it, because like what he's describing right there, and this is what David Lynch said as well, is like he was trying to make a parody or a commentary on like drama soap operas like that, and that's what that is. But he does it in a way where it's not just generic characters doing these dramatic things that we're so bored with. One lady's obsessed with a log. She just carries that around. That's her gimmick, and that plays into what she does throughout the story.
And honestly, some characters have like storylines you don't even expect. Like Lucy, for example. Wow. You don't expect that at all.
It just, and we're trying really hard to not give specifics.
We'll wait till later if we feel like it.
We're trying to give people who want to like give the show a shot.
I say if you want to see surprise drama, that's what I like to call it.
I will warn you though, we're talking it up like it's the greatest thing ever.
It does have some flaws. It's a tad bit slow. If you're not used to dialogue, it's probably not your thing.
If you can't appreciate a character for its
don't say it like that. Don't say it like that.
No, because like some people will look at a unique character, quotation marks, and be like, okay, this is just obnoxious.
Not for you.
Like, I don't like this. This is just really obnoxious. I'm not a big fan of this. But
that's the point.
If you have a threshold for like, especially anime, if you like anime, when you meet interesting characters that all have gimmicks, it's very similar to how you meet characters in this show.
Twin Peaks is an anime.
I mean, not to suggest that it is an anime or anything.
But it's a live action show, but it damn sounds like an anime.
Because the way you describe it, like you have a really smart detective that uses very uncouth methods of solving things.
A high school girl who has a huge crush.
Has a
huge crush on the FBI agent.
This is, this is a slice of life anime. This is Case Closed. This is Death Note, with no Shiki. Well, I don't even want to make that statement.
No, because we have the
more
scariest
things to talk about.
one of them all.
So I'm trying to think what else should we say before we dump into those. We were only
it was written and directed mostly by David Lynch, who was
Mark Frost.
Partnered with Mark Frost, who's a TV executive producer. David Lynch has a history of making these left turn style movies where it's just out of the norm.
He likes his abstract.
Oh yeah.
He likes doing abstract stuff. Namely, his biggest theme is industrial.
Industrial and existentialism.
Oh my God, yeah. Like almost everything he writes is about existentialism.
Yeah, no, it's like, who am I?
Even is Dune like that? I would imagine the character is trying to figure out who he is.
I refuse to read any more till I watch it.
Okay, yeah, we still haven't seen Dune. I know we suck, but we're trying. We're getting there.
Yeah. Not everything's on a streaming service, guys.
Yeah, I know. It was freaking hard to find Fire Walk With Me, which is the movie.
We had to YouTube it.
The Fire Walk. Okay, there's Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, which is a movie that you think would be a sequel to the show, but it's actually a prequel. I think it's really good. We'll go into more detail later on.
When I found out when it first came out, it was not as well received.
Yeah, no, because people wanted what happened after season 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you left them in a weird spot. It kind of makes sense why they got upset.
At this point, a lot of people don't know if it was on purpose or not, because it was exactly 25 years later where the revival happens.
I feel like he didn't know what to do for a while, and then as the time kept going, he's like, fuck it, I'll wait. And then he just kind of started this thing going, you know what I mean?
But it could be that he took his time.
And I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, it's his baby, you know?
Okay, so we're talking about Lynch a lot as we're talking about the show, and it's more like
it's his child.
We talk more about Lynch, that director, in this show than other directors of their shows, because this is so uniquely his style.
Yeah.
To the point where he's a character in the show.
Oh yeah, no, he plays the boss,
Gordon
Cole, who's deaf.
Yeah,
so he
well,
wears a hearing piece.
He's not deaf. He's just
Hard of hearing.
Really hard of hearing. Really hard of hearing.
Real.
He just has this like constant headset on.
But it's like old school, so it's, you know, it's kind of defunct. So he just yells a lot because he has to hear himself talk.
Right. I guess that's his, because it's like
We accidentally gave David Lynch Gordon Cole's character. I'm sure David Lynch can hear fine, and he doesn't sound like that. But we got so used to Gordon Cole that we just ended up giving him his voice.
After
Every time
watching
we think about him.
all of Twin Peaks, after seeing a couple of special features videos and stuff, you just get this personality of him. This man who grew up. I don't think he grew up in the 1950s, did he?
He was born in the mid 40s.
Okay, so there you go. Like you get that feeling where he loves going to that 1950s diner, the Cold War aesthetic, where nukes
Basically
and stuff.
nuclears.
He loves that whole era, and he brings it into modern eras each time. He brought it into the 90s with Twin Peaks, and he brought it into the modern era with The Return.
In interesting ways too.
In interesting ways, and then so we kind of developed this personality for him.
Bright personality, because the color schemes in Twin Peaks. Like I rewatched the first episode today, and wow, everything is like brighter than what you look at anything else. Like if you look at a wooden door, it's not that brown. But in Twin Peaks, it'll be like bright orange.
Because that goes with the theme of the town too. That it's like it's great
bright
concept. Like it's very happy here in this town.
Like the whole like
union.
nuclear family in the 1950s. Everybody has 2 kids, a job, a dog, and backyard.
Like you're following Cooper as he's entering this town, and you're like, you feel suspicious with him that everything is so good and happy, but it's just how this small town works, you know. Back to David Lynch though. As we said, he was born in the 1945. So he's an older gentleman right now.
Yeah, he's like 70, I think.
So we kind of developed this weird like mental picture of like how he directs his films. So for example, it'll be like, all right, so what I need you to do is I need you to stand over there and start spinning in semicircles. Put on the red dress and clutch in the air, searching for something. And then as an actor, you go, okay, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
cool.
yeah, absolutely. What?
Can we hang her from the ceiling? She make it look like she's flying. We can't do that, David Lynch. Okay.
Oh, and then we fast forward 25 years. I can do what with CG?
Oh my god.
He
I can do
uses
what
so much
with CGI?
He uses so much CG, and it looks fake.
Horse.
But I like it because I am immersed enough that it doesn't bother me.
No, because it makes sense in the context that it's in.
I don't know, because I can look at that like the floating head. And he knows exactly what I'm talking about. No, don't say who, because we're not at the spoiler section yet. But there's a floating head in The Return that is the worst effect I've ever seen in this era.
But it fits.
But I don't care, because it feels strange because this area is strange.
Exactly.
I don't know.
It makes sense.
It works.
If where he's supposed to be is supposed to be this out of world, like you can't even comprehend what you're looking at. Obviously, something like that would show up in front of you.
All right, I want you to take a swig of your alcohol and fall over onto the rug. And when you look up, you'll see a giant white unicorn. But you're not actually going to see it. It'll be put in production. Oh, okay.
By my best friend, CGI.
Like, we just started coming up with things. Like, how do you explain this to an actor?
Can we fit this in a diner? Majority of like Twin Peaks, a lot of it takes place in a local diner of the town, and even in the credits, in the ending credits, you see scenes of the diner. It's just people there's so many footage of just the diner.
I don't know. I think that's his
his aesthetic.
Think about it, like the aesthetics of the 50s.
Cherry pie. Damn, that's a good cup of coffee.
Gotta get some milkshakes. We love this personality we've developed for him. It's
like I'm pretty sure he's not. I'm pretty sure he's a normal person.
I know
or a
he is.
semi-normal person.
We've seen videos of him speaking, and he talks normally. He has a voice like this. He still has his little accent.
But that's just him.
But he's not screaming like he does in the show.
but imagine him screaming after every conversation now. Like he's just like, it's a quiet night at home, and he just looks over at his wife like, did you take out the trash?
Honey, are you horny? All right, so one last thing before we start heading into spoilers. If you are interested in watching Twin Peaks, and honestly, it is worth the time.
You can find it on Hulu and Netflix.
Netflix has seasons 1 and 2, and that's the original show. And then you're gonna have to go on Showtime or buy the DVD or the Blu-ray or whatever of
the Twin Peaks revival, which is the 3rd season.
the return, isn't it called?
The revival, the return.
Whatever. It's called.
You'll notice.
It's called a Showtime event series. So I don't fucking know what the name
It's
of
like
it is.
a Persona. Shin Megami Tensei Persona for the Golden.
We'll get into that. We have some things to talk about. So yeah, one little quick thing. No, quiet, Adrian. Quiet. Anyway, sorry, he was calling.
I thought he was your tape recorder.
Exactly. Your tape recorder doesn't talk back to you? No. Anyway, one last thing. I'm trying to say it really quick before we move forward. Season 1 is really good. It's the show's pacing is a little slow, so you got to get used to that. But the season 1's really good. When it switches over to season 2,
that's where it really kicks off.
Actually, I don't know, because that's when James leaves town. That's when Nadine goes to high school. Like when that starts happening, feel free to skip the next 3 or 4 episodes, because that's when David Lynch left the series because they forced him to reveal the killer.
Make sure they're not the episode. Make sure you keep the episodes with David Duchovny.
Oh my God! Yes.
You have to. You have to watch this.
Skim through them, because there are some scenes where Mulder
from X-Files,
from the X-Files plays a
one of my favorite characters.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing. But
Denise.
He plays a transgendered. Oh God, is she FBI director?
No, DEA agent.
Yeah, DEA agent. Like, yeah.
Because there was cocaine found.
Right, that explains how she got in there. Okay, but he plays this transgender FBI DEA agent, and it's one of Gordon's best friends. You know, David Lynch's best friend, and she literally comes in and solves a lot of the problems and like helps them and is a uniform member, and it's never brought up. The thing is, you have to remember this was in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, people were gonna have that stigma, and they just did it, and they don't care.
Oh, but everybody's reaction was just normal.
Yeah, no, like Cooper's reaction is so amazing.
I could do that.
He goes, "Oh, you were Dennis," and he's like, "Denise now," and he just shakes her hand and goes, "Okay."
I can work with that.
Did we need any more?
No.
No. But anyway, back to my point.
It's not point of his character. It's just what he is, you know?
Right. What she is now.
She is.
But in any case, skip over the scenes where James leaves town and Nadine goes to high school. Come back in the last 3 episodes, and you'll be able to continue moving on. You wouldn't have missed anything, right? I don't think you're missing anything with it.
Yeah.
Skip the middle of season 2. That's it.
I say if you want a good laugh, watch the scenes with Nadine with super strength.
All right. We're heading into spoilers.
Yeah, no, that's
we're gonna talk about Nadine's super strength in a minute.
That is hilarious stuff.
So this is the end of part 1. We'll see you guys in just a second. All right. So what I want you to do is take off your shoes and then put it on your head, and then I want you to fall into the lake, and then you'll be teleported into a space galaxy. Sure thing, David. Do you want to play with fire, little boy?
Fire walk with me.
Meowsy Annie. Meowsy Annie. All right, so
Meowsy Annie.
Welcome to the spoiler section of the podcast.
25 years later, we never found out how's Annie.
Exactly, we never. Yeah, the dossier said it somewhere, I bet. The final dossier, which I haven't read at all. Dossier.
I can't find any of the books at any of the Barnes and Nobles.
We might have to order it online. So this is the part of the show where everyone left already. You know, the 2 viewers that we had. So because everyone who was interested is gonna go see it now.
Yeah.
But now we can talk about specifics.
Yeah, if you came back and continued watching the show like a good little fan.
All right. So what's the first thing you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about theories, or do you want to talk about Twin Peaks' relation to video games? Because we could do that last, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, let's do theories first. Okay. Let's throw the ball at that one and let's just shoot the shit.
All right. So from what we understand, and we're gonna try and recap as much as we can quickly and not getting caught up by details, but
because it's a lot.
It's a lot of details.
A lot of detail. 25 years worth of details.
Well, 25 years forward. You know, with the show, I don't. It's just a blank
Time
space.
does not matter.
Okay,
so you can't say forward anymore. You go 25 years.
25 lateral moves.
lateral moments of time.
We haven't moved anywhere exactly. All right, so we have. Oh god. So we're gonna probably. The way I feel like I can organize this is by order of events. So at the end of season, or towards the end of season 2, William. What's his name? William
Wyndham Earl.
Wyndham Earl. I honestly hated that character when he first came out. He's like playing his flute and he hits Leo with it. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this like
weird
dominatrix weird character?
Oh no, he's super weird.
It was like awkward.
Super weird.
I don't know. I don't
but
think
the stuff he was involved in, I kind of got him a little weird, especially his relations with Coop.
Yeah, he taught everything to Coop apparently.
Oh, a lot more than that. him and his wife.
Oh yeah, but then Coop went with his wife.
Yeah, Coop started
with what's her name? Evelyn? No. Something with an E. Caroline. Yeah.
Caroline. It ended up with a relationship because Wyndham Earl has been disappearing on and off.
Mm-hmm. And they make it a point to show the difference in Wyndham Earl's tactical thinking and Cooper's.
It's night and day.
Like Cooper has more of like a moral standard. It's weird.
While Wyndham Earl doesn't care. He uses people as their guinea pigs
or as pawns, maybe.
Oh yeah,
because that was
he's the mastermind character.
You know, was chess.
He's a mastermind. He's the evil scientist. He's the guy going, I'll get you next week, Cooper.
Yeah, he felt kind of like a random villain, and maybe because he wasn't made by David Lynch, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because that was towards the time when David left.
So, well, he didn't leave the show. His character left.
No, he left. He left the show.
Oh, that's right, because he didn't want to...
He didn't want to reveal the killer of Laura Palmer.
And that's right.
Mm-hmm. And now he was forced to, and then he said, screw this, I can't do this. And then he left, came back for the last episode.
Yeah.
So, all right. This in mind...
So much more.
Cooper goes to the town, makes friends with the police officers and everyone there. Andy's amazing. Oh my god, I forgot her name for a second.
Lucy.
I almost said Judy.
Lucy, the sweetheart.
Fucking love Lucy.
Detective Sheriff? He has this very small voice.
I'm patching you through the phone over there, the brown one.
Press the blinking button.
Oh, she was.
Thank you, Lucy.
She ended up being one of those characters. If you see somebody mess with her, I want to punch him in the face.
And that's what made it so great when she eventually has.
She goes through the weirdest.
I don't know if was that when Lynch was around. When what's his face?
Yeah.
Was his name George? No. I thought he had my name for some reason. Dick. That's right.
Dick. No, David. That was David Lynch's thing.
Okay, because when Dick came around and started giving her troubles, and she was trying to figure out
who's the father of her
But here's the cool part. Here's the best part of that situation. Not even that. The best part is she doesn't go. Whoever the biological father is will be the father, and I will, do whatever because it's biological.
No, it's who's more suited to be.
Who's more suitable to be the father of my child? Yeah. That's who's gonna help raise that child with me.
Spoiler alert: it's Michael Cera.
Well, oh my God! So it turns out that child grows up to be Michael Cera. Why? Oh, okay, he's he's an intellectual, which is like a joke because his parents are dumb. So I get it, whatever. But it's like, why is he, that Shia LaBeouf in Crystal Skull?
Yeah.
He's the same character. It's the weirdest thing. It's a 1950s thing again. Son of a bitch.
Yep.
Anyway.
But yeah, no. Lucy and Andy is number one couple.
We kind of lost track, but we might as well just talk about the characters. I don't care anymore. So Hawk. If we're going to talk about characters, I want to talk about Hawk.
That guy.
I've never seen a character be more relatable in the sense of getting weird shit happening to him and just going...
Unfazed. He's just
Okay, let me think about that for a second.
He doesn't even say anything half the time, which is the best part. He kind of just watches this and he just goes...
Because even Cooper will go like, what the hell? And you'll think about it and consider it. And I like that about the FBI in this universe. They're not squares. They're not skeptical.
Not like the Men in Black, which is, you know, all about their suits and just like bang, bang.
They're a different way of like talking about FBI agents. They are willing to listen to rumors and supernatural
they act like
things
people.
because they're not, even if it's unexplainable, the FBI method still has to apply.
Well, yeah.
So it's like it's this cool real world science on supernatural shit. But anyway, that's why I like the FBI in this show.
Oh yeah. No, the whole police department.
They're all. This is such a great ensemble cast. I can't think of a single person in this show that I don't like. Even James, who's kind of got like a useless arc.
But we ended up having some fun with him.
We had a hilarious time with him. Go online. Go on YouTube.
Listen to his #1 hit.
What's it called, Vinny?
Together.
I don't know what it's called, but
Forever.
for 25 years, his voice has not changed.
Oh my God. Okay, so if you're in the spoiler section of the show, either you don't care or you've seen it already, but James has a song and he sings it with Laura, or no, not Laura, with Laura's... With Donna and Laura's cousin.
Maddie.
And they're singing the song, and it's the worst song I've ever heard.
It's terrible. 'Cause you obviously know it's not his voice.
It's not his voice at all.
It's like an overdub of this.
It's like got crazy echo on it. It just sounds weird.
But everybody's reaction to it, it's like it's the most beautiful song sung by angels.
They're off time.
Crying.
They're off time and shit, and it's like they're just looking at him like, wow, he's so hot.
They want to fight over him. It's weird because James was dating Laura, then ended up dating Donna, then ended up being a love triangle. Then it.
See, we're not trying to get caught up in the details. This is exactly why. Oh wait, Together Forever is also a song by Rick Astley. Whoops. It's called Just You and I.
Yes.
Hold on, guys. Here you go.
So
I'm not subjecting it.
Why is there an echo?
There's so much echo, and it keeps going. When the girls start singing, it's so dissonant. It's weird. Before we get hung up on James's song, we were talking about the characters in the show.
I ended up Audrey became one of my favorite characters,
I have a weird feeling with Audrey.
especially with the recent season.
You know what? Hold on. Let's finish going through the show in order, so that way because we're gonna start talking about characters who don't show up in the beginning, and it's gonna be kind of
True.
weird. Cooper goes to town, starts investigating the murder. What's up?
Actually, I want to just pause this for a second.
What's up?
So you remember in season 3, Johnny and Johnny Horn and
How are you today,
Audrey's
Johnny?
mom?
How are
and,
you today,
You know how
Johnny?
we were talking about discussing that we didn't see them in the first 2 seasons?
Yeah.
They were actually in the first 2 seasons. They were in the first episode.
What?
And Johnny is Audrey's older brother, and actually younger brother. Is Audrey's younger brother, and that's still Audrey's mom.
Wow. Yeah. I honestly thought I didn't recognize the characters at all.
Yeah, no. After we watched the whole show, we watched the first episode. Just the first episode. I'd watch. Wow, you didn't realize all this was going on at the same goddamn time.
To get to that point, Cooper's investigating the murder, right?
Yeah.
He starts finding all these supernatural elements to it. The fingers.
But that
and the
doesn't happen
nails.
till later on. In the first episode, nothing supernatural happens.
Well, not in the first episode, but
first
by the
cou-
first season.
Oh, well, later on by the first season, correct.
Does he go into the waiting room by the first season?
No, that's the last episode of the first season.
Okay.
So first season was mainly more grounded, you know?
Right.
More police investigations, stuff like that, finding the killer.
He was getting hints from the log lady. He was applying.
Yeah, obviously everybody feels there's something in the air, but everything's normal.
Yeah.
At the end of the first season is when stuff really starts kicking off.
That's when he gets shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we see the giant.
And the giant shows up.
Yeah.
And that's one of the first times they directly speak to him like that.
Yeah.
And then from that point on in the show, it stops being like, it doesn't stop being a soap opera, but it lowers that a bit for this detective story that really starts ramping up now. You know,
with these supernatural entities from out, we don't know.
Yeah. So then we find out that because as we know in season 1, Leland is possessed by Bob, right? Bob being this crazy otherworld deity that's like evil incarnate, chaos. He's this demon essentially, in the Twin Peaks world, and his name is Bob. It's weird. Anyway,
actually, David Lynch recently said in an interview, Bob is actually an acronym for something.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but we'll look it up real quick later.
That would be interesting, and I would like to see if Judy's an acronym too.
Judy I read was actually has a different name, and it slowly became Judy.
Oh, Judas or something. I don't know.
Jude.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably a reference to Judas. All right, but anyway, help me continue the plot. He gets shot. He continues on finding the murder, and then he finds out it's Leland Palmer, her father.
Well,
possessed by Bob.
It was between Leland Palmer and this Robertson that they slowly trying to piece together who this Robertson was. That's when Dale Cooper discovered the name Bob. And then we slowly find out there's something a little bit more to this town than there is.
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't understand this scene, and I've seen a couple clips of it over and over again. When Cooper is talking to Jacques, and he's trying to figure out exactly where they went that night and everything, they have the coin, the poker chip, and he says, explain this to me. And Jacques goes, well, when we were there, and it zooms in on his mouth to be extra gross, because that's the whole idea, is that he's gross, so we're going to right in there. He's like, so he was saying, where do I put it? And he's like, he put the chip in her mouth and said, bite the bullet, baby. And there's a bullet hole in it. So who got shot in the face?
I don't know.
I feel like I missed that part.
I'm still watching. I'm rewatching the show, so I have a better idea.
At some point, it went from who shot the bullet into the coin. It was definitely Leo.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's a third person there. And then we went off on that. But someone should have still gotten shot in the fucking face with it. Because if it's in her mouth, where else can it go?
Obviously in another world.
Unless he shot it and then put it in her mouth.
That's a possibility.
That's weird. I don't get what the point of that is.
I mean,
that's not biting the bullet.
Yeah, but isn't that like more normal than the stuff you've seen in Twin Peaks?
I thought, because as you're watching this for the first time, you think that's how Laura died, because you don't. Well, you see her body, but I mean, you know what I mean.
You don't see anything.
You're not suspecting supernatural elements yet.
Yeah.
You know. And then now it starts going into a possession by a thing named Bob, and it's in Leland. Was it always in Leland? Or did it just get into Leland when he got the white hair?
And then that got a lot more complicated.
And see, this is where I don't want to touch yet, because we're going to just continue moving on.
Yeah.
We find out it's Leland. He starts doing weird shit. They arrest Leland.
They arrest Leland and let him free the first time.
Well, he's inside that interrogation room because they trick him into going there because they think they're going to arrest Cooper. And he goes in there. Bob, like, I don't know, Ultra Instinct powers up. And I don't know if Bob jumps out by that point and then goes into Cooper. Where does he go after that point? Because it shows Leland on the floor crying about killing his daughter, which I think is a plot point, because if that's supposed to be Dark Leland, why would he be doing that?
Well, supposedly he's remembering what he did to his daughter.
But the thing is, if you're Dark Leland, don't you like that? These are the questions that I don't know.
There's so many questions.
Like, because what we're saying this because later on around season 3, well, come on, let me just finish season 2. Windham Earle shows up.
No, later in season 2, another Leland shows up.
Another Leland shows up?
in the end of...
Oh, that's when original Leland leaves?
Well, the original Leland, it was in the waiting room and in the end of season 2.
Yeah, I get that, but when did he get into the waiting room is my question.
Yeah, before the events of the show, for the first time.
But then, okay, now this is my problem. All right, so around season 3, they introduce this concept of dark selves, which are like shadowed doppelgangers is what they call it, and there's also tulpas, but we're not even fucking touching tulpas right now.
Nah, that's season 3.
We're talking about there's a good and a bad version of each person. Maybe a normal and a dark version, let's just say that. So by your logic, when this show starts, Leland is Dark Leland.
Yes.
Is Shadow Leland or whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Leland doppelganger. All right? And Bob is in him too.
Yes.
From the beginning of the show.
Because they teamed up.
Remember, because Fire Walk With Me happened, and Bob was in there.
Yeah.
For all of that happening. So it's Dark, Leland, and Bob. So when they go through all of that and they trick him into going into the interrogation cell, and Bob jumps out, and Leland is crying in Cooper's arms, saying, "I can't believe it. I'm so sorry. I did all of it." And you're right. He's feeling guilt for what he's done, but he's not Leland at that point. He's evil Leland, who should be amplifying that and liking that and going, "Why aren't I strong enough?" Because season 3 comes around and it shows that there's a sort of symbiotic relationship between Dark Cooper and Bob.
Yeah.
And Cooper is making sure Bob is always there, and Bob stays, but he could have left because remember, they shoot Dark Cooper and he stays in the body. So it's like, why did Dark Leland give a shit about his daughter?
That is a cool question. I never really thought about that.
That was a big question of mine. And then the bullet thing, bite the bullet. I just don't understand there's obviously it's me missing a clue, because there's no way that there's this giant plot hole and no one's thought about it. Like, I'm just missing something, obviously. But I don't know. I feel like that's a weird thing.
But that's the great thing about the show, is that it gives you that motive of you want to keep going. You want to see if you missed anything weird.
There's so much packed into each scene in terms of what you're supposed to get on your first viewing, what you're supposed to get on your second viewing. It's not very clear when you first
It's like a
see
new
it.
game plus.
It really is. I mean, it's really interesting. Leland's in jail. At that point, does Bob jump into Cooper?
No.
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 Bob's at
Bob
the waiting room?
Bob is with Wyndham Earl at this point.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know he actually got, because I know that Wyndham was looking for the Black Lodge.
Originally, yes, but we see throughout the Wyndham Earl arc that he had relations with Bob. Like, he knows Bob.
He fucked Bob.
Yeah, I mean, if you want,
Yeah.
I mean, that's actual theory with Leland. Like, Leland as a child was raped by this Bob. That's a theory.
I
I've read.
remember that Bob used to throw firecrackers at him.
I mean, abusive towards Leland
Yeah,
as a child.
that's all I've gotten. But whatever the hell that's supposed to mean, whether Bob was in another person or Bob was himself, I don't think that's even a thing.
Well, Bob cannot show up in the real world like we see him.
Right.
He
has to have a form, like a host.
He has to have a host.
Yeah.
What I believed was that Bob found a complete different person. We're not even supposed to know who that person was, you know? Like, this was so long ago, because it reads that there's evil in somebody, you know? And I guess Leland just got the unlucky, straw.
But then, by that token, all right, let me, because I have to introduce season 3. Otherwise, these questions I'm about to ask you don't make sense. Wyndham Earl tries to find the Black Lodge, finds it, puts Annie in there.
Yeah.
Cooper goes to try and get her. Cooper goes into this other world, which is the waiting room, which is the red curtains for anyone who hasn't seen the show and is interested, whatever. He goes in there, gets lost, kinda. He runs into Leland, good Leland, who's in there, who says,
and he's like, find Laura.
So he starts looking around for Laura, I guess. And he does find her in a room with a strobe light. And then in one of my favorite kind of shots, behind a piece of furniture, Cooper's doppelganger comes out.
Yeah.
And starts just kind of walking towards him. And it's like a video game, kind of like an indie game, where you're like, oh, fuck, back out. And he starts running back, and the doppelganger's following him behind him.
That's terrifying.
It was like, holy shit, that's kind of freaky. But that's not before seeing a scene of Bob and Dark Cooper laughing in each other's faces.
That's an iconic scene.
And what that means,
it's like it shows that they're symbiotic,
exactly.
like they're teaming up.
It shows,
like, hey guys, bad guys unite.
It establishes that they're connecting at that point, and then Cooper he's trying to leave, but doesn't actually leave. He gets stuck there.
Yeah, because Dark Cooper pulled him. He's like, hey, you can't leave, and then he ran out instead.
Yeah, so Dark Cooper managed to get out, and then while he was getting out, and then he gets back to his hotel room, I think Bob comes in then when he slams his head into the thing.
Yes.
Or did he always have Bob?
No, Bob came out with him.
Okay, so then maybe he just had him the whole time.
Yeah.
So, and then that's how season 2 ends. The main character got possessed by the bad guy, evil wins. The end. Can you tell David didn't really like the television system that much? He didn't like working on TV, so he just kind of said, fuck you, bad ending. damn.
I mean, there was a lot of. I mean, I heard there was supposed to be a season 3, but the execs didn't want to go through with it.
Yeah,
Because dwindling viewers, I heard.
Well, because the show was already falling, and this was just the last episode to end it.
The forced love interest for Cooper and Annie.
Yeah, oh god. Well, because it was kind of weird for Cooper.
Audrey did.
Yeah, Audrey's a high school student. She's played by like a 30-year-old, but she's still a high school student.
It's like the Power Rangers thing. These 20 or 30-year-olds playing high school kids and who's having these relations with these adults, but they're the same age.
Just
we
like
all know
Scream.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all very similar.
The more and more I'm watching it and stuff like that, I'm really liking Wyndham Earl's arc a lot more.
I don't like Wyndham Earl's art. Maybe I need to watch it again, but he was too,
bad guy-y?
It seemed like someone was trying to do the quirkiness of a David Lynch character and just overblew it.
Oh,
And,
no, he was good.
He plays a bamboo flute. Yeah, and he's all into Asian culture. And he likes chess. And he's really smart. And he's twirling his mustache. It's too much. One thing. It's all you need. Leland, he's a possessed man. You're done. That's it. What else do you want? Wash your fucking hands.
The crazy thing is, because in one of the books for Twin Peaks is an autobiography of Dale Cooper. And actually, when Dale Cooper first signed up, it was Wyndham Earl that signed up Dale Cooper into the FBI. Wyndham Earl trained Dale Cooper.
I like him as a concept.
In the last scenes of season 2, when you see the duality between, because you see Wyndham Earl also in the Black Lodge with Cooper. And if you look at the scenes, they're always standing directly, separate from each other, but they look like they're facing each other.
That was probably something thematic with the filming. I don't think it's specifically something in the plot, but I think
there's
David
a duality
it,
that you're seeing. These are both FBI agents going through the same thing, but they both have two different mindsets.
And Wyndham just gets annihilated the minute he comes in.
Yeah, he gets destroyed.
Because he's a problem? I don't know.
Because Bob thinks that Wyndham Earl is not up to his expectations.
So he just got rid of him.
Got rid of Wyndham Earl, who was one of the members of the Blue Rose group.
Right.
Task Force.
Okay, and now we start heading into season 3. Now, this is where a lot of new things are introduced to sort of fill in the spots in the original.
Not just fill in, but stuff before the events of the show. Definitely, especially the relationship between Gordon, Dale, and Wyndham Earl.
So much more Gordon in season 3. I'm very happy about that.
Oh no! David Lynch's character Gordon Cole is
he does way more in this.
Top 3. One of the top 3 characters.
Okay. I don't remember what the exact episode number was, but it was after talking to Dark Cooper inside the prison when they have him locked up.
Yeah.
And he goes out to have a cigarette with Diane and his assistant that I forget her name. Vinny and I swear that he forgot his line.
It was the funniest thing because he just looked out and going, "What the hell was I about to say?"
Oh God, what the hell is my line? And he just takes a drag of the cigarette.
He asked for it awkwardly too, it didn't fit.
Yeah, because he asked for it after his huge pause. Yeah. He goes up to Diane and he's like, "Any news on Cooper?" And then she goes, "No, nothing yet," and looks straight up at him, waiting for him to say his line. And he just kind of stares out, then looks at the other girl next to him.
And she's
"Is it your line?" And then she kind of makes a kind of face.
But why did he keep that?
That's the thing. So after that happens, Lynch just looks off into the distance for 5 minutes, trying. Oh fuck, what is my line? I don't remember. And then just kind of awkwardly, as if he's giving up, looks at Diane and goes, pass the cigarette, and he just takes a hit. And then the character on the right just kind of goes, "Gordon, will you?" And then he just continues, and then the scene continues as normal. But this is a solid 5 minutes or 3 minutes of just watching him do nothing.
You know what? I'm kind of happy that he kind of left it in.
And he just left it in there.
It's kind of funny.
So,
there's humor and everything, you know?
Yeah, and then there were scenes like that, and then there was the infamous, by the way, I found out it's infamous online, the sweeping scene that I bitched about.
Oh my God.
There is literally a fucking 5 to 6 minute sequence of a guy sweeping
at the Roadhouse bar.
There's nothing new to add. It's just he's cleaning up afterwards.
And there's a guy behind the bar. Looks like he's doing some paperwork, normal bar stuff.
There's nothing. Why are we still here? Is my question.
Well, I actually have a theory with that. There's a huge thing with how. Okay, so spoiler alert with Audrey. there's a huge thing with in season 3 where she's like in a coma or she's asleep, but she's not herself, you know?
Right. Especially how jarring it is how the show introduces her.
Especially so
For a character that's so huge in the original show, she just kind of poof is there.
So later on in Audrey's arc in season 3, we see she goes to the Roadhouse, where she's supposed to meet this mysterious guy named Billy. So on my first viewing, I saw all the Roadhouse scenes. I know we skipped over it when we watched it with you. We kind of remember the scenes at the bar
where
the girls talking.
The concerts, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a rumor that all that is part of Audrey's dream world.
Yeah, that it's made for her somehow.
Yeah, and if you listen to those random girls talking and stuff like that, they all mention Billy.
Really?
They all I rewatched those scenes specifically.
Oh god, the girl scratching at her arm just distracted me too much.
They all mention this Billy guy and we don't see him existing at all. But he seems to be this type of person who is kind of the ladies' man, but at the same time, they don't see them again. You know, the girls don't see him ever.
It's something that's attractive to them. Something keeps attracting them.
I believe Billy might be like a symbolism for something, or he's like a nickname for something. I don't think he's an actual person, because even Audrey, who's married to this Charlie, who is this
random guy,
weirdly shaped person.
But he's just a random
guy
dude that's just out of nowhere.
Who
like,
also acted a little weird.
He acts like he's just fed up with her. I feel like those scenes are supposed to be frustrating. You're supposed to be like Audrey going, can we just go?
Do something?
But they just keep fucking bickering for like the whole scene. And you're like, fuck, can you go? And then you're like, oh, that's the point.
One of the main theories is that's Audrey's struggle to wake up from her dream or stay in her dream.
And this is where
that's supposed to represent, you know?
Right, and this is where I'm having trouble understanding at what Twin Peaks is as a concept. I think if season 3 is to be believed with the different timelines, because at some point,
not just timelines, but different worlds or different layers of the world. Because now we're hitting stuff like dream worlds or like between dreams and reality type of things. Because stuff gets leaked.
Right, but hold on, wait. I want to explain this really quick to the recording, just really fast. That there was a timeline of Laura being dead, right?
Yeah.
And when Cooper goes back to reclaim his body, kills Bob, he sees Diane and senses something wrong. I'm kind of confused on what that exactly happened. And that's when the superimposed image goes over the screen and says, "We are in a dream." And you're like, okay, so all this is not real. But hold on, they keep going. How do they transition? They go back into the...
Well, what happened was, in the beginning of season 3, the giant, aka the fireman, as he called himself to Andy, told Cooper, don't forget Richard and Linda.
Whoa,
and don't forget...
You're jumping. Wait. I'm still trying to transition him with Diane to him in the past. You know what I mean? When he
goes back in time?
When the Asian lady with the sewed up face all of a sudden becomes Diane
again, yeah.
And then they go together into the lodge, I think. And then
they go back to yes and no. So Cooper led Cole and Diane to the Great Northern Hotel
That's right.
Because he had the key to his original room.
Right.
So he opens it and inside is teapot. David Bowie
There's
teapot.
David Bowie, yes.
David Bowie teapot.
The David Bowie teapot, yes. He's supposed to represent David Bowie. David Bowie's character.
David Bowie, who is a teapot.
In Fire Walk With Me, the prequel, there's a character played by David Bowie. I'm not quite sure who the fuck Philip Jenkins is, but he's David Bowie. That's what I know.
A southern David Bowie.
He's a southern David Bowie. He's a country boy.
He's a cowboy.
Oh yeah, beautiful. But okay. So at some point, he ends up going back to the past to where James and Laura were talking and manages to fucking stop the murder of Laura Palmer.
By intercepting.
By intercepting her. But this is so crazy to me, Vinny. Have you ever thought of a show where not only did you solve the case, you stopped it from happening? Like, it wasn't enough for Cooper, man.
I feel like he should have gone back further and stopped Leland from becoming Bob.
Honestly, Vinny, I feel like he shouldn't have gone back. I know he has that urge, like this compulsion.
You
that
should go back and kill Hitler.
Well, but I know Cooper has this compulsion that I need to find the answers. Whatever the answers are, even if my brain can't even comprehend them.
I need to know more.
I need to know more. I need to do more. So he goes back in time to stop this.
Well, because he's responsible now that he has these connections.
But you solved it. The day is saved. Why not live in the dream? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Like, all right, whatever. So he gets out, but Laura disappears. And then it turns out that spawns on another timeline because Laura never died, and now she only disappeared. But the Cooper in that reality still investigates and disappears too.
Yeah.
So that's timeline 2. But after that is established, we wake up in entirely separate reality, which is what you were bringing up earlier with Linda and Richard. Yeah, Richard and Linda.
Yeah.
The giant, as you were saying in the beginning of the show, tells Cooper, remember these names.
And the number 430. That's 430.
That was the clock. It was stuck, remember?
No, wrong.
No?
So it's so we're on the end of season 3. We see Diane and Cooper driving for a long while, for a hot while. Mm-hmm. So when they stopped at this electrical pole thing.
Oh yeah.
He goes 430 miles. We're here. So he gets out and he goes in front. Then he hears the noise played by the fireman, the electrical noise.
Static noise.
So the theory is that driving a certain amount of distance and at certain entryways, you could actually jump to the other worlds.
Huh.
And that's how.
But when they get there, it's not the other world.
As soon as they drive through, then it's the world of Richard and Linda.
But we've been in Richard and Linda's world.
Not the whole entire time.
Since we woke up.
Before we woke up, we were Richard and Diane. The driving happened before the hotel room incident.
Oh wait. Okay, so you're saying this is after they wake up this is before when they wake up as Richard and Linda.
Yeah.
Okay.
They transported to the new world where they became Richard and
Linda.
And that's why they drove to the hotel and
Yeah, and then we see this new. I feel like I've never been more glued to the screen for a TV show in a while than the last episode of The Return.
Yeah.
Because it's like this new character, like your character just woke up from being in another reality or something.
And
you're not sure if what you saw was real.
Even Diane thinks, it's. Well, here's the thing.
Because Diane covers his face because she's remembering being in Twin Peaks
after what happened.
And being raped by Dark Cooper.
Here's the thing. As soon as we got to the hotel room, Diane saw like a twin of her in the distance. Remember that?
Right. That was her remembering herself.
That was supposed to represent her time at Twin Peaks.
Yeah, they're conjoining
Yeah.
here. No, we agree here, absolutely. And that's why she says, you feel like a different person, I'm leaving.
Linda.
Like, Linda.
Because her name's Linda.
Because Linda just got these kind of thoughts and sickness of thinking about this guy.
Other world.
Because she's thinking about Dark Cooper, but not Richard, but they're the same person. It's weird, right?
Yeah.
So that happens. He goes find Judy. Goes into a restaurant, kicks ass, and you see
a restaurant named Judy.
Yeah, and you kind of see that like this Cooper is like a mix of all three Coopers.
Correct. Well,
besides Dougie.
We don't know yet.
We don't know because there's no way to really show Dougie.
But I mean, it's still probably safe to say there is probably a form of Dougie, a family man.
Because Dougie is a tulpa or a shadow clone jutsu of Cooper.
Well, shadow, I guess, yeah, like.
It's made out of fucking black mist. Come on,
Black
that's a
mist
shadow
and
clone.
a gold ball.
And a gold ball, absolutely. And there's dark tulpas.
Yeah, dark tulpas, light tulpas.
Fuck off. Anyway, all right. Knowing this, and then they go find oh god, he goes to find Laura. Laura is not actually Laura. She's this lady named Carrie Page. And he keeps trying to convince her.
A new book.
He keeps trying to convince her to go with him into Twin Peaks.
But she has no idea.
She has no idea what he's talking about.
No idea who this Laura.
Until he brings up the name Sarah Palmer, and then she goes, Sarah Palmer. Okay, I'll go with you. I don't know what that means.
Well, she said I'll go with you because she's in some hot water.
Yeah, she just killed someone.
Because it has nothing to do with Sarah Palmer. She just wants to get out of town.
Okay.
Because she mentioned she wanted to get out of town anyway.
Okay, that's fair. Because
especially during the drive conversation between Cooper and Carrie Page.
Right. So you eventually get Laura in the car, or Carrie Page by this point was what she's
Go
called.
to Twin Peaks, which still exists.
Long drive. They go into the town. They go to her old home, and there's an entirely new person living there.
We've never seen these people before. They're
Completely
just
different.
completely strangers. The history of the house is completely different.
Then they walk away. Cooper whispers to himself,
What year is it?
and then Laura looks at the house.
And something whispered Laura.
Something yells, but it's really quiet.
Yeah.
So it's like something's calling Laura.
And then she
And wait. She screams first. You're right. Go ahead.
screams.
Just
Top of her lungs.
the camera's on her, and she's just screaming, and then it cuts back to the house. The lights, I'm always specific about this because how it does it is so cool. The lights in the house go out first, and then the street lights go out, and then it's cut to black. That's the end of Twin Peaks.
Well, as far as we know.
But I mean, like, from
Yeah.
what we know, the same way season 2 ended.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
Jesus
a huge
Christ.
cliffhanger.
I really like this idea that, because this is what's leading me into what I think Twin Peaks is. I feel like Richard is the base reality in a way. And because you mentioned how the doors look more
Technically,
beautiful.
in a way, they all could be the base reality of their point of view.
No, of course. But the way you describe the door in the police station, it's all very vibrant and the colors are so much grander. I feel like because that's a different existence where things are more
I thought that
able to do that.
too, but in the first episode of Twin Peaks, they still have a sense of blandness. There's not that much music cues in the first episode. It's a lot more quiet. So it's kind of a mix between the real, Richard's world and the Twin Peaks world.
Well, maybe that's the transition. I don't know.
Transition between,
Because
dreams
in
and reality.
Richard's world, when we follow Richard around, there is zero music.
Yeah.
There's like none. So it's this. You can tell there's a distinct difference here.
It's more more serious, more grounded earth.
Yeah, and the way it
Grayer.
the way it interprets the past is by doing grayscale.
Yeah.
So it's like it has a way of telling you where we are each time, but it's like Nick Spheres. If you wanna, he's a guy, or I'm sorry, she's a lady that I follow on. For real, it's transgender. It's just, I don't know, Twin Peaks.
Denise.
Denise has a channel. She has a great channel where she starts talking about the idea that it's a collective dream. Vinny isn't exactly subscribed to this theory yet.
No, I mean, we all have our own theories,
Yeah, because it's really
the
up to
point?
interpretation at this
Oh
point.
yeah, no, because the problem, it's not a problem. It's kind of like the charm of it is that they give you all these clues, all these evidence for a specific theory, but there's not just that one that just, puts the nail in. There's nothing that actually finalizes everything. Like for example, about the whole part about Richard being all three Coopers in one, we don't see anything of Dougie,
Well, because Dougie is like a premature
He's a
body.
child.
Yeah, it's not really something that the one line I was looking for was like, oh, I'm thinking about my family. Something about my family, because then that automatically ties him to Dougie. But it didn't happen.
No, it was you see a lot more of combination of dark and
You see Dark
light,
and regular
light
Cooper. Yeah.
which is kind of a mix too. Dougie is kind of just Dougie is kind of Cooper in the same, in
Yeah,
a way.
but then-
I guess he doesn't count as his own personality.
Contrast this with Audrey, who wakes up from her situation completely just what?
Well, the last time we really saw Audrey before the events of season 3, she went through an explosion at the bank.
Right.
So we don't know what happened to her between then.
Right, but when we see her, she's not in the hospital. Not even when she wakes up, she's not in the hospital.
We don't know where she is.
We don't know where she is.
Because it's all white.
But it's like a personal mirror.
It's a personal mirror, but we're still in an all white room, so that could be anything.
But what I mean, I guess I'm saying, is she's not waking up from a hospital bed.
I never said that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I'm sure if that was the case and she was just waking up from her coma, then it would be established that she's in a hospital.
The only piece of info we happened to Audrey between the events of season 2 and 3 was Cooper raped Audrey while she was in a coma to have her bastard son, Richard.
Okay.
Evil Cooper was just raping everybody.
Yeah, and the crazy guy who chokes out grandmas
Yeah.
and runs over children and doesn't give a fuck and murders
Because
the witnesses.
he's part of the despair. That's Evil Cooper,
Yeah. It's really, it's God, that character was very shocking. I hated him, but I hated him even more.
I think that's the point of the character. You're supposed to
course.
hate him, and David Lynch did a good job of making sure you hate that guy.
Oh, I did. Oh, I mean, I definitely hated that guy. So one more thing, just about the collective dream. The fact that everyone's kind of experiencing these supernatural things together in the first reality, I guess. It's hard for me to distinguish.
It's hard to. I feel like when I picture all these realities and stuff like that, I like to picture a pizza pie. Like each slice is the same size and it's just different. You know?
Yeah, and he makes a point when David Bowie Teapot shows the model of the figure 8. He makes a point to rotate it.
It's
so
infinity.
it's like there's literally
anything's possible.
There's a set timeline and then there's other sides of it. That you
Yeah.
can just rotate it, and it's like, oh shit, okay.
And you can go upside down. It's another thing. And
It's a completely different. So it's like all these different tangential realities, and they're all like leading into each other. But the thing is like one of them okay, you know what it might be? There are all these separate realities, and none of them are necessarily a dream. But being within proximity to Twin Peaks allows the different ones to bleed into each other.
Well, actually, to bring home the thing that, Twin Peaks is a nexus of all realities. That's the gist of it.
That's where the base of the power comes from, is the woods. They make it so fucking clear.
Because of the whole history with the Native American tribe, which
Almost all-
Hawk
Yeah.
is the huge detective on that one.
Of course, well, he knows. He's like, follow your people. He's like, okay. And he does.
And he went to the bathroom and followed his people.
Someone here?
Bob.
Hello? Who's here? Hold on, Vinny, keep a minute. Oh, hello. Hi, sorry, I didn't know it was coming in. It's like me.
Okay. That was scary.
Yeah.
We'll cut that.
Yeah, no worries.
We'll cut that.
We should also actually cut this segment. We're running a little late.
I mean, we got plenty of time.
So they bleed into each other, and you start seeing. I don't even know, because it's like there's at some point when they get to Twin Peaks, all these other people are having their desires, and it's all very like soap opera-y. I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know, but there has been talks of the season 4, but I think we'll jump more into that, I guess.
Yeah.
If we do get one.
If we do get one.
David Lynch has this thing where he just does whatever he wants. You know what? I'm okay with that.
He just wants to be
that guy.
A cool, oil-covered, long-haired man with leather jackets.
Also, who works for the FBI.
But this is what David Lynch thinks is cool. By the way, like intense industrial music. All right, so I want you to look like a complete badass. You're gonna have long hair.
Leather jacket.
A leather jacket. You're gonna have a constant expression of "you don't mess with me." Like he looks like he looks like Bob. Is the implication is that he's growing his hair to be like Bob, but it's David Lynch's idea of like evil or a bad man. A bad man is a man with long hair. Like, Bob is so nondescript. He's just a dude.
Yeah, he just has facial hair. He has a denim jacket.
And he's just smiling so much.
Well, it's funny thing about the actor who played Bob, he was just a set dresser in the beginning. He was added very last minute.
He's just a guy. He's just a guy. I don't know. It was a great choice. Anyway, we're gonna cut this segment right here. Be right back. Don't judge me. Theme of Dark Coop. Dark Cooper for Smash.
That'd be terrifying.
Oh my god, he'd like murder everyone.
He's hitting people with his car.
Oh my god, just so much blood.
Everywhere.
I would like his final Smash be to just like call Judy out.
And
like,
Judy's
just do the
eats
teeth
people's
thing.
faces.
Yeah. Judy kills people not by biting them, but by rubbing her teeth on them
their heads, and then
until they just become stumps.
it's weird.
Assuming that's Judy, mind you.
Well, the theory is that's Judy.
I believe
because
you.
it's a female figure. And,
I think it's
and
Judy.
we found out Judy is an evil entity that's above Bob. Because every bad guy needs an upper bad guy.
Right, and then because Evil Cooper's the one who's owning the glass box, it's showing that he's looking for that person
Judy,
who did show up,
who's
who's possibly Judy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense that that's who he's looking for. But anyway, the reason why we bring this up is because we don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of video games happen to take pointers from Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah, no. From Silent Hill to Alan Wake to even the Persona series.
Alan Wake, Persona, Deadly Premonition is literally Twin Peaks the game, but to just change the characters around. Have you? I mean, it's not
I've
exact,
seen Deadly Premonition.
but the main character acts like Cooper.
Yeah.
You meet the same police chief stuff. Like it's really
It's
interesting.
zany.
There's even a log lady. Alan Wake has a lamp lady. It is the same character.
And the diner is intentionally
diner.
is the exact same diner
Okay.
from Twin Peaks.
Alan Wake. Alan Wake starts out in fucking Twin Peaks. You go in the
Bright
diner.
Falls.
He gets he gets in the diner. Someone next to him drinks a cup of coffee and goes, "That's a damn good cup of coffee." You remember
Yeah.
that, right? That happens in Alan
know.
Wake. Like,
And we go to the sheriff's department, and the sheriff's department looks exactly.
oh, I didn't even notice that.
Oh my god, it almost mirrors
Really?
Truman's sheriff department.
Oh my god, I kind of need to go back and see that then.
Dude, because of Twin Peaks, I went back and replayed Alan Wake. I told you that.
Yeah, yeah.
And because I was playing it on my laptop and I was watching Twin Peaks at the same time, it was like I don't know who I am anymore.
What? No, that's how you get through stuff. Like, I was playing Smash while
And
watching
Mr.
Twin
Scratch
Peaks.
is basically Dark Cooper.
That's the big one too.
American Nightmare,
American Nightmare just straight up took Dark Cooper as a concept.
and just whatever.
Do you know what Dark Cooper's name is in the show?
What?
Mr. C.
Yeah, Mr. Cooper.
What's the name of evil
Mr.
Alan?
S.
Mr. Scratch. Mr.
Yeah.
S. It's like
Come on, guys.
they're
You know.
homages, but then there's just using that character. Like the lamp lady is the biggest example of this.
Oh yeah.
You're not just doing an homage anymore. That is the log lady, but she has a lamp now.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, show.
I mean,
okay, that's fine.
dude, I'm like okay for it.
At that time, I didn't know. I
Yeah.
didn't know Twin Peaks, so I didn't really think about it. But now I'm like, holy shit! Wow, Alan Wake.
Alan Wake is literally just another season of Twin Peaks, but on the other side of town.
They like threw in some Stephen King and some Twilight Zone with Night Springs
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like, wow. So that's Alan Wake. Now Silent Hill. This is the one obviously I wanted to talk about. There are a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of things that are not taken, but
Was inspired.
I don't know if I can say that because I don't have any confirmation.
You don't have
but
any
it
proof.
feels like it. Like, for example, James. There's a character named James. First off, there's a James and a Harry in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And the two main protagonists of Silent Hill 1 and 2 are Harry and James.
Yeah, but they're not like those characters.
Sure, James is kind of, because James is mopey, just like James is mopey.
James super.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Both James are super.
And he had a whole thing about having a romantic fling with a doppelganger, not doppelganger, but a look-alike
Yeah.
of his romantic interest, Maria Mary Much. Like, we have a you look just like her scene. Like, you could be her twin. It's literally that scene. And then in Silent Hill 1, Kaufman hides the Aglophidus inside his motorcycle gas tank. And what does James get
Cocaine.
caught? He has cocaine in his gas tank. And I've never, ever seen another piece of medium use a gas tank as a hiding place.
I don't remember anything like that.
So it's like, that has to be I don't know. It doesn't have to be
I mean, it
anything.
could be your little fan theory.
But
I
it's
have my
so
own.
close.
It's so close.
And then the whole thing with like parallel realities, not dimensions,
but different layers of reality.
some sort of alternative.
Because the fog world is like another layer of our reality, and then the world after that is another layer of that.
The way that I like to think about Silent Hill, and the way that it was explained to me, is that there's something in the power of the town actively changing things around you. It's not really that you're transporting to places, it's that the town has that Native American energy, and it's just changing concepts around you. And yes, I said Native American energy, because that's where it started from, just like Twin Peaks. But yeah, and then that's where I kind of want to draw that allusion to Twin Peaks, and how I think about Twin Peaks being the collective dream, is that it's like Twin Peaks, the town, is creating this, you know how Silent Hill creates like not evil, but like nightmarish visions of what you think about and who you are.
Yeah.
It's not because
personifications of your deepest, darkest.
Right.
Stuff.
It's not like it's transporting you into Vinny world. Yeah. It's pulling from Vinny and putting it out into
like
the world.
Like a dark Vinny world.
But you're not in a different world, is
you're
what I'm getting at.
extra lazier.
It's just, imagine someone just pulling monsters made from you out of you and just plopping them into your reality.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, that's scary as shit. So imagine, this is how I think of Twin Peaks, and maybe this will help you understand what I'm thinking about. The town is doing that by bringing people in and bringing parts of them, but it makes this separate kind of like dream. It's not a dream, but like an optimal reality where everyone's getting what they want, fixing their hearts.
Like reality with like steroids.
Right. And then as they start
enhanced reality.
As they start trying to figure out why things are so weird and supernatural, it starts falling apart. And it becomes more like you're going too far, and now you're transcending things.
Yeah, you're trying to pull it apart. Now you're just going past the broken pieces.
That's how I feel about Twin Peaks.
Okay.
Now, how does that exactly connect to Richard getting to Twin Peaks and becoming Cooper? I don't know. Maybe that's something I need to rewatch the series.
I mean, my theories for that is that if locations are still the same, because we still see the same diner and everything.
Just like in Silent Hill, how it's a regular vacation town.
think the door to the waiting room is still the same location. So Cooper would just have to go through that and probably just find another hallway.
Well, would it be the same waiting room? Would it be
Yeah, because all the locations have been consistently the same.
Correct, because that is like an underlying reality. No matter what changes,
no matter what changes, this is what these are. That's what there are.
So you think he'll run into the giant and everyone again?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
So he has a way of getting out.
There is a way. Like I was just thinking about this. Like there's so much more we could do. Like we could follow Cooper trying to put all the pieces of all the realities back together.
And then there's definitely room for season 4.
Oh yeah,
but the thing
especially
is,
with Carrie Page, now we have Laura Palmer back.
It doesn't feel like a cliffhanger so much like season 2 was.
No, it serves a dual purpose.
I feel like it could end there, but it could also keep going.
In the way it ends, it's like evil will always be there. You can never forever defeat it. You know.
Well, that's definitely the theme of season 2. It's like humanity has an innate evil, and it's just going to be there. But in
season 3, where even though Bob has been defeated, we follow Sarah Palmer, who is possessed by this Judy.
Right. And then every scene we've seen with Sarah that point is actually Judy and Sarah. This is the thing your friend was... your friend.
So I follow this channel on YouTube, which does a lot of David Lynch theories and stuff like that. What's the name
of it?
Wow, Lynch, wow.
Yep, that's the name.
It's perfect.
In his video, he suggests that all the scenes we see of Sarah Palmer are the second reality where Laura disappeared, not died.
Yeah.
Of the alternate, not reality, the alternate timeline where Cooper went and repaired that. We're seeing that because
she disappeared.
Because Bob didn't kill her.
And but Bob was still in Leland.
Right, but Leland commits suicide in that timeline. He kills himself because Laura disappears, not because she dies.
Do you think, even though before the events of Laura's disappearance, Leland was still having his way with his daughter? And then she disappeared to run away from it. And then as she ran away from it, she became Carrie Page.
As far as we know, the split happens when she's on her way to see Jacques and Leo. So everything in Fire Walk With Me up to that point still happens.
Yeah, it's just everything after that is up to
wash your damn hands still happens.
Yeah.
Does he still fuck her
at
that point? Yeah, okay, yeah.
No, Bob Leland has been having illicit relations with his daughter since she was 12.
Jesus Christ, okay.
So those things still happen. So it's possibly she disappeared because what he's been doing to her. And thus, he realizing what he's done, he commits suicide.
Right, but we know how she disappeared. It's not even one of her own volition.
No.
She just is gone. because Cooper tries to pull her out of a reality or a timeline, and it just.
But we don't know
know.
how exactly.
I don't know where she went. See, he pulls her out, and then we have Carrie Page.
Yeah.
So
I
was there a
think
transition? I don't know.
what happened was after he pulled her, she disappears, right? Mm-hmm. But a timeline kind of, you know how like the giant kind of like flipped pages.
And shows where Dark Cooper was going to tell.
Yeah,
Dark Cooper was going to go find Judy, and the giant stopped that by making him go to the police station.
I think something
instead.
similar has happened to that. Like there was just a weird, like quick page of reality just changed, you know. Mm-hmm. And she's at her house, and obviously stuff with Leland happens. Then she runs away. I think she runs away, disappears. She becomes Carrie Page and totally forgets that.
I thought about that too.
But then we find out that house never was owned by a Palmer family.
See,
so.
I thought that too. Because she said, "Oh, Sarah," and she remembered her mom's name or something. But no, it's a new family. There was no Sarah Palmer.
As far as I know, those people don't exist.
I don't know. It's weird. But back to the point with it being attached to video games.
Yeah, we went back to theories a little bit.
It's interesting.
There's so much of this show. That's why.
There's so much. We started talking about Persona being somewhat related because there are
the waiting room is basically the Velvet Room.
Right, and this could be chalked up to just maybe because these both games are focused on existentialism. Who are you? Who am I?
They even have their own shadow selves.
Who I am thou, art thou art I.
You aren't me.
You're not me. It's the more anime, streamlined, non-cerebral way of doing it.
It's the high school anime equivalent to Twin Peaks.
Yeah, in a weird way, because you even get weird, quirky characters with the social links.
Yeah, personalities. Kanji.
The only problem is like it doesn't have the same
tone.
Oh, definitely not. Even though it does the shadow thing.
Yeah, but the tone, like it's like especially with the Persona 4, everything's just super happy and yellow.
Such a wholesome message in Persona.
It's like woo! But
friendship can pull us through.
It's weird because 1 and 2 are a lot darker compared to the main,
Well, because Shin Megami is like the world ended. All right, chapter 1.
Chapter 2, the world ended again. Look what I did, bitch.
Wait, chapter 2, we brought it back. Destroy it. All right, but
we're not making this title till the world ends again.
The world ends with you.
Fire, walk with me.
Fire, walk with me. So we started talking about Persona and the Velvet Room and the giant being a lot like Igor.
Well, I think Mike, the one-armed man, is more like Igor because he felt more of the advisor role throughout season 3. Like he kept telling Cooper to follow him. He's the one that told Cooper to wake up.
I'm interested because I wonder which one would be Elizabeth and which one would be
the opera singer.
She's not around enough to be Elizabeth. She's more of a
The giant is Elizabeth.
That's what I was thinking. The giant or Mitch is Elizabeth. One of they got to switch some. I don't know who's in charge of the fucking.
It's a different sibling each time.
No, the arm is the head.
No, the arm is the
who's
tree.
In charge of the waiting room.
So he's Philemon. Philemon was Igor's boss in Persona 1 and 2.
Oh my god.
And then in Persona 1 and 2, the assistants was an opera singer, a blind piano man, and a painter.
Does that not sound Twin Peaksy?
Yeah.
Like just weird attributes on a
character.
character.
And the world is an opera stage. It's super weird.
Like, it sounds ridiculous because Persona has such a very, very different tone, but it does a lot of the same shit of investigating the shadow world. And
in Persona 4, you play as detectives.
Yeah, but it's like, what if Cooper just found the portal and just kept using it over and over and over?
No consequences.
Like nothing. And what if fucking you play Persona 4 and the shadow Yosuke went out instead of regular Yosuke? It's like, oops. Shit. I don't know, but that's the relation. I feel like there's obviously more. I want to go more into Deadly Premonition, but
let's do Deadly Premonition.
But we got to play it first.
Yeah, I still haven't done it.
That's the problem.
I mean, I've seen gameplay, I've seen trailers, I've seen my fair share.
I saw the intro cutscene where he doesn't have a tape recorder, he doesn't talk to Diane, but he talks to someone else in his mind, and he does like a thing where he touches his temple. Oh, I think Adrian's here. And that's also from Twin Peaks, because it's like he's talking to Diane. Hello?
Excuse me 1 second. Bone King is on the phone right now.
I'll let you in.
He's gonna let it.
The front
Adrian.
door or the. Okay, I'll be there in a second. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. I'm gonna let Adrian in, and we're gonna have a party.
Next episode of CanonFire.
CanonFire Z, where we talk about Twin Peaks again for another 2 hours.
Adrian would be like, "Oh, I'm so bored."
Yeah, because he's gonna listen to this. All right. Yep. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.